I wonder what I should do after recording this video. Maybe I'll play a game. Maybe I will do something else. I don't know. So, talking to myself, that is basically the subject today. I tend to talk to myself quite a bit, like, well, every time I record I'm technically talking to myself, but just other times I might do it just loudly like this when I'm alone. Like, no, I'm not crazy.
Just die! Die in hell! Burn! Yes, but we'll not find out what's in the chest until the next episode. You've got the magic rod. Now you can burn things. Burn it! Burn, baby, burn! Hello there. After 3 hours of playing, over and over this stage, over and over and over and over again, I win!
A most notable demonstration of premeditated aggression. You done 'em good, mate.
Let's get back to us bony lassies.
And I even got silver! VikzeLink always wins, in the end. Yay. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Okay, so maybe I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm not crazy because I talk to myself. Or rather, I don't talk to myself because I'm crazy. Those are two completely separate things. No, talking, I've pretty much talked to myself for as long as I can remember. Not really out loud that much like I'm doing now, and as I do when I record videos, like with the camera and stuff. Because then technically I'm talking to you guys, but in the future, because I haven't edited and uploaded it yet, but you're not here, so I am still alone, which means I am talking to myself. The camera is not a person. But I only talk out loud like this to myself whenever there's no one around it, and I know there's no one to hear me, because even though I know I'm not crazy, other people, for that reason that is, crazy in that way, other people don't know that, and it gets weird if I do it out in public. So I actually have different levels of talking to myself depending on in what situation I am in. I mean, if there are people that I know can hear me but cannot see me, I might do it a little more softly, like this, so I don't talk very loud when I talk to myself, just a little bit soft like this, a little bit. And that's just one step below talking loudly to myself. Well, loudly. Then if we go one step further, it might be if people would be able to hear that, depending on the location, of course. Outside, people are less likely to hear you than indoors, inside. So I might go a little whisper, maybe a tiny bit whisper. But I rarely do that, because that's rarely the case. Other than that, I might just do it silently and just move my mouth with the words. Because it's easier for the brain to remember what you're talking about if you're doing it at the same time. If this that I'm saying is easier to remember than if I would just think it. For example, when I edit my Let's Plays, I realize that I think in the same way while editing as I do when playing. For example, well, no actual example, but let's say I'm currently Let's Playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky as I'm recording this. And let's say I'm walking in a dungeon and I see a Pokemon and I'm like, oh, I remember that Pokemon. And I say that in the Let's Play, but before I start saying it, when I edit it, I think the exact same way because I said it when recording it earlier. So then my brain remembers it and it thinks in the same way. I hope you understand what I mean. It got a bit confusing there, possibly. But yeah, then we have another type of level at about the same, and if it's, I know people can see me, but maybe not hear me that well, I'll just think it while it's difficult to explain. It's not exactly like that, but it's a bit lower in sound, but I can't really show that. And like the lowest levels is just thinking it. And that's not talking to yourself, that's thinking. But I really do like talking to myself because I've always been a bit of a lone wolf. I mean, I do have friends, just not that many, and I don't meet them very often. But talking to myself is sort of... I kind of consider myself my own best friend in a weird way. And I get to spend a lot of time with myself, especially at work. I'm a mailman. When you go around, you're not focusing 100% like reading, oh, this is the next letter, it's going to this person. That's the door with that person, put it in. You're thinking about other things while you just look, okay, that one is there, it goes there. And because I go to the same area every day, so I know, you start to know who lives where. And you just think about stuff. And you spend a lot of time with yourself. So it's important to be able to do that. I know lots of people who can't, they like start climbing up the walls if they don't get to spend time with other people. I'm the other way around. I like spending time with other people, but not too much. I kind of prefer to be alone most of the time, because then I can just be more comfortable. I can relax better if I'm alone. I'm an introvert. Big surprise there. I really feel like I'm not staying on topic here. Well, it's kinda related-ish. There's not really that much to talk about when talking to yourself, which is ironic. But it could be just like simple things, like maybe I'm planning what I'm gonna do later, or I'm just thinking about and talking a little bit about stuff that interests me. It's kind of hard to explain exactly why I do it and why I like it. And a funny thing is that even though I am Swedish, I sometimes actually talk to myself in English, like I'm doing right now. But like sometimes, most of the time it's in Swedish, but sometimes it's just in English. It's just in English because, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking a bit more. Maybe it's when I think a bit more about YouTube and the videos and things like that. Then I might talk to myself loudly in English, even though I'm not recording. It's weird. It's a bit weird. I'm a bit weird, did you notice that? And I also think talking to yourself, it's a good way to vent your thoughts. Because for some people, at least it is like that for me, when I don't get to do something with my thoughts, if I'm keeping completely quiet all the time, if I don't do anything remotely creative, for me even gaming can be creative, depending on the game, of course. And making these videos, and by being creative, I don't personally consider myself to be super creative, and I'm also a bit lazy with my creativeness, so to say. I don't really do any big difficult projects because I tend to get a bit overwhelmed by the amount of work you have to do to pull it off well enough. But yeah, all these things are ways to just get out of your head a bit. And talking to yourself, then you have to listen to yourself. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just rambling. I'm talking to myself. I'm venting out my thoughts. And that's exactly what this video series is. This ConverZation thing. I'm just venting out longer thoughts that I can't really discuss in a Let's Play because I'll keep getting interrupted, and it will also take up like a whole episode of just discussing that one thing. That's why I started this, because I have a few things that I want to talk longer about. Although I do feel like this episode, I haven't really talked that much about talking to myself, even though I've said talking to myself a lot, but I haven't talked specifically about that specific subject that much. It's more about things around it that connects to it. But it kind of works too, because there's not really that much you can say about talking to yourself. It's like, okay, I do it and I like it. But yeah, what about you guys? Do you ever like talk to yourselves or just think to yourselves as if you were talking to yourself? Because there's a difference in thinking to yourself and talking to yourself and just thinking. Yeah, thinking to yourself and thinking was what I meant to say. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end this video here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Now I'm gonna go away and talk to myself. Goodbye! So, maybe I should play a game.
Boom, yay, äntligen sång, hey, boom, boom, yay, watch some videos, hey, boom.